Lights on, lights off. Lights on, lights off. Lights on.
Hello everyone, I'm B from Our Dream, Our Purpose. Back in the garage again, doing some little projects, actually trying to put some different lights in my garage. And I had a lot to where the ballast was burnout, what I thought the ballast was burnout. So I was talking to one of my buddies at work, my maintenance manager, and asked him, would you replace the ballast in one of these lights, or because they're not that expensive, go ahead and replace the whole fixture itself? He told me neither. Change the light bulbs. I said, well, I changed the light bulbs. They don't work. That's not what he meant. So in here, there's some different ballasts and different parts in here where it controls the, I believe, the wattage going through the bulbs. So you have to have certain bulbs for this. But with the new LEDs, if I change this and hardwire everything in, I can actually use LED bulbs for it. Now, you can get these, I get Menards, Home Depot, wherever. They're LED lights, they're actually rewire ones. So it's basically telling me that I'm rewiring this and I'm gonna use these bulbs for it. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and show you actually how I do one of these and we'll go from there, all right? So I have some basic tools here, just really, it's not that major. I will show you the biggest thing is understanding the schematic, and I'll show you a drawing of that as we get through. Now the first thing is the centerpiece inside here. You want to pull that out. All right, so inside here has some different wires, and I'll show you when we get to the ends what the wires are really for, and then I'll put a schematic up as well. We'll go ahead and take the ends apart. The ends are a little different. As I say different, just you have to do it different ways. This here, there's some little pieces inside there. Now what I do is I'm just pulling them off the bottom. Okay, but also in here are some clips you have to get from the inside. If you can see that. So there we go. One side. And I go back and forth. Make sure, so this is completely loose on the bottom. Now I'm just trying to undo the clip in there. Got that. I'll show you this, and I'll get you a little, let's bring you a little closer. But I'm gonna cut the inside pieces here. I'm gonna cut those because they're attached to this. Cut this here. And then there's one wire coming in through the bottom. Cut that one. And I'll explain what each of these wires mean. Now this is just held in by some plastic pieces. This one might be glued on. So I'm just taking that out. All right. And then we got these pieces left here. Okay. Now I've done these already a few times, so I know these, what I want to do, and I'll show you a schematic. These two inside, I'm going to attach to this piece here. This will be our hot line, and we'll attach it on the other side to the hot. These two have individual wires that go all the way to the other end, the white and the black. I'll actually join them out here just so I have one wire going, and I'll show you what these are. But all we're going to do is clean the ends of these up You can have wire strippers. I use a utility knife. We're going to use a butt connector and just join these together. So there's different ways. You can put wire nuts on these. I've been using butt connectors, and there's different sizes. This is for the smallest that I use, and it's 12 to 16 gauge. Then there's a blue and yellow, which is 12 to 10 for the yellow bigger one and 14 to 16 for the blue. We'll use some blue and we'll use some red. And the way I look at it is how it goes in there. So that went in there. We'll put this side in. And it's easier to do them together normally. So we got both those sides in. Then put this one in. And it basically goes, if you've never done this before, it goes inside. There's a metal piece in there that holds on to both sides. And I get this tool. Now you can do it with pliers. I've seen a lot of different things. This to me made this a lot easier. I didn't trust my crimps in the past until I used this here. This here has red, blue, and yellow, so whichever butt connector I'm using. It's a little ratchet type, or it's just a pair of pliers. So I'll go in here and I hold these in together. Put it in the red slot, and I'm basically just crimping one end. Go to the other end. And do the same thing. And then you don't have to if you don't get too close to the end, but I normally do, so then I'll do the middle. Crimps that metal in there. I always tug on it. It's pretty good. Now, you don't have to, but I actually wrap mine in tape. Just some electrical tape. Here. Now, this piece, there's a little groove. You got to watch where the wires go to make sure everything goes back together good. There's a groove down there. These two go through holes. There's a groove down there that we want that to go down through. Now, I know this wire goes out. I know which wire this is, and I know it goes through the bottom, so I can actually go ahead. We're done with this side. But again, before I do that, I do want to show you, I'm going the hot for the two inners, neutral for the two outers. It's important because on the other end, you have to do the same thing. If you're not going to do the same thing on the other end, it should pop your breaker. I know it's not something you're looking at doing. It's not something I'm looking at doing. You can use a rubber mallet for this. Okay. Then what I will also do is right inside here, I'm actually going to join this right here with a piece of a little bigger wire that I had laying around, white wire, because I don't need both of those to go down to the other end. You could if you want, but I will actually cut these wires. I'm pulling them both up so that I can cut them in the same spot. Clean the end up, and I'm just cleaning a little bit of the end up. You want a connection on the inside of your butt connector. Just a little bit. Don't need a lot. Clean these up as well. Now because this wire is a little thicker, I'm going to use blue. Get that in there pretty good. And then again, we'll send these in pretty much at the same time. Boom. Got them both in. I can feel they're both in. And by pushing on this side, I'm actually adding pressure. So we'll do this, and because I'm using the blue, I'm gonna go to the center where the blue color is. Leave a little bit hang out. Scoot over just a little bit. Do the same over here. Got a good crimp there. Again, it's a good crimp, but I like to tape it up. Take it a little stronger. Now we're down at this end. What I like to do is organize these. We'll pull these two off to the side. This is my main one that runs all the way through. So this is my hot, and my neutral I'll pull out of the way. Now we're gonna do the same thing we did to that side. We're gonna take this off. This will probably move. This is a little harder because it actually has a wire that goes inside and plugs in. So it's got a little bit, a few more wires going through it. But we'll do it the same way. I loosen the bottom first. Now they'll go together differently, I'm sure. All of mine are the exact same, so, but I loosen the bottom, then I'll play at the top a little bit. And again, there's a clip inside there. I'm just trying to undo the clip. Now what happens sometimes, and it's gonna happen here, this entire piece comes out. Now it is screwed in there with, or attached in there with the ground. I wanna leave that in there. So now that I have this up, I'm really going to go inside here. And these are clips that are held on, so I'm really just trying to push them in and out at the same time. It's not that easy. We've got the power wire coming through, the neutral coming through, power, neutral, and ground. We're gonna leave the ground. We will do the same as we did on the other side. We're going to cut this here. Now remember, what I'm cutting are the wires that attach to this centerpiece. Remember I mentioned the insides of the lights I want to attach together. I'm doing that. Just pull this wire up through. Now I got the two insides. So what I'm gonna do now is, so these wires, these two wires here that go through, remember I connected the two down there to this one wire? So I'm actually going to cut these out here. Make sure this is far enough back and this wire goes plenty of room. I'm gonna cut this right here. And then what you have is this piece here. I'm actually gonna cut this. Give me these two wires. And I'm actually gonna cut the other side because the centerpiece is junk and thrown away, but I will keep the wires. See, I've got the 2 wires here. All right, so I'll show you how we're going to connect those. These 2 top wires, the inner wires that go to this main wire that comes all the way down, it's already attached inside, so I'm actually going to hook this wire to those, and then we'll put a butt connector out here to join everything together so we get that power. We'll do the same with the outer sides, but I'm going to run this power line here, or the neutral, in there, and then we'll connect it inside. So basically, I'm going to hook this to there, I'm going to hook a white to this one, and we'll have lines going out, and we'll connect everything else inside. So let's go ahead and, again, they make tools for this. I've just always used utility knives, so I do, but the other tools work just fine. So I'm gonna do those 2. I'll do this one inside here. And while we've got this loose, I'm actually going to clean up these ends as well too, because we know we're going to make a connection there. First one we're going to join is this here, just with the white one that we had done. That's a very simple, small butt connector. Again, I hold them together, add a little pressure. And this is a connection made already from the factory, but it's an older, so I have no reason not to go ahead and throw some tape on that one. I don't want to work on this light a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. I want it to work, so should I do everything the first time? Now these are going to get the black wire that we had put together, that we had cut and trimmed. Again, we use the white. And anytime there's a larger wire or multiple wires like here, we're putting 2 in. I'll put the 2 in first. It's easier to get the 1 in by itself, just like that. I'm just tucking this in. This wire is going to go down. You can put it a couple different ways. You know what? I'm going to go through this hole here. Now it's a lot longer, so that's why I don't worry about mixing the 2 up. All right, so let's try putting this back in. Now, my goal is always to put the plastic outer cover on. It goes outside the metal. So I put that on first. And then slide this back in. Now we have a bunch of wires coming out here. Okay, so the black wire is going to go to this black wire here. The white and these two here are going to attach just like this. So this line hooks up to the two outside ones down there. These are the two outside here, and here's the neutral coming in. So we're going to attach those together. And here's the power coming in. Again, I've got the two hooked up to the inside ones on this line, and same down here. So what I'll do is actually cut this here, clean them and splice them together. Good. Again, another butt joint. I'm just putting power, so this gives me power to the insides on that end and the insides on this end. I'll clean these up. You've seen this a few times now. Now this is solid line inside here, so I can add a little more pressure than if it's individual strands. You gotta be careful not to cut through them.
Just cleaning wires, you've seen this a few times.
What I'm doing with my hand is just holding both sides in until I can get a crimp on both sides. So that's done. I will actually tape those down. I'll show you what I mean, what I'm doing here shortly with that. Again, I got this wire comes out. I'm going to cut it, same spot. No. You've seen this already. Now, I'm going to put this side in first. I might change it. I like putting the thicker end first, but on the other side, I'm putting 3 different lines in, so it's not always easier to put these straight lines in, or typically is easier, but because there's 3 of them, they actually went in really good. So we'll hold that in place. All right, so we've got everything put back together. Again, I want to go over how we wired this up. We had a wire already inside. This one wire here was inside there. I hooked it to the 2 inside of the outlets, the individual outlets. Now, if you have singles and not the double like this, you need 1 power, 1 neutral, and you're done. That's the same thing we did here. I've got the insides I'm considering as the neutral, or the power, I mean, and I hooked to this line here. The outsides were 2 individual wires. I actually joined them into here, so I have 1 line going down. Okay, and I did the same thing to here, but the plug coming in, I tied into that. So we have the neutral tied into this as well. So we've got neutral hooked to the outsides, power to the in, again, hook the 2 insides up inside there, 1 wire coming out. I got a power coming out.
Here's the wiring schematic. Pause the video if you need to.
All tied in here with butt connectors. Highly recommend a tool like this. It's not perfect, but I'll be honest, 1 out of 20 times might be loose and I have to re-crimp. So that's worked really well for me. So what we're gonna do now is put the bulbs in it. Put 2 bulbs in it, and then we will plug it in to test it out. We've got some power. Now I don't put the centerpiece in, I'll explain why here in a minute, but it gives me a chance to look and see. There we go, wires look good, no issues. We have power. So the reason I don't put that in yet is because I'm gonna take these bulbs back out, and when I mount this, I'll mount it up through, I'll drill holes through here. There's some in there, but I'll drill holes here and mount them up. I actually use a metal roof screw because it has a rubber grommet on the inside, and it just seems to work real well for me. It holds in there really well. And then what I'll also do with these extra wires, actually we'll tape those down so they're out of the way, and we'll hang it up. So there again, you can go to the store and buy new ones. I have a large garage, so I'm looking around in here. I've got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just in this little area. And next door I have a larger part of my garage. I probably have 40, 50 of them. I have a lot of lights. So I was looking from a cost standpoint, and these lights here, you can get for $20 a piece. I was able to get the light bulbs. It's probably $10 a piece for the light bulbs, so it's just my time is worth the extra $10. Times 40 lights, it was to me, and it was, can I do it? Do I know how to do it? So again, if you're not comfortable doing it, don't do it. This is just something to say. I'm not an electrician by no means. I don't like electrical, but this is something I was comfortable trying and doing. Again, if you like this, again, I'll try to do a lot of different things like this on this channel. So like, subscribe, hit those notifications, leave comments. If you saw something I could have done better, improve on, or you have any ideas for things for me to try in the future, please leave comments and let me know, all right? Our dream, our purpose. Thank you very much. Have a great day.